Hey guys, welcome to Ball Speak. This is my first video. Basically, I wanted to make this channel to air some of my frustrations with basketball. I am a huge NBA fan. I am a Kiwi, and so of course I support Steven Adams and follow the Oklahoma City Thunder. I do follow a few other teams, and basically, like a lot of Kiwis, we've followed Steven Adams since he was drafted. Lucky for me, I was already a fan of like Kevin Durant growing up. So when Steven Adams got drafted to play with OKC and Kevin Durant, that was pretty cool. Of course, we all know what happened with that, so let's not talk about that. Anyway, I wanted to make this channel. I wanted to be able to talk some shit about basketball and air my frustrations. And something that has come to really tipping point for me is the way Oklahoma City Thunder use Steven Adams in their games. The fact that Carmelo Anthony is still starting when it's obvious that he should be coming off the bench with the second unit. But first I wanted to talk about Steven Adams and go through a few stats and why I think the Oklahoma City Thunder aren't really using him properly. The thing is with Steven Adams, he's developed with OKC and he's got to play with, some of the great players of the game, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant and the like. In one way it's helped him, and in another way it's kind of hindered him, because he hasn't been able to show his full potential of what he can do in games. Just as well as being a tough guy and doing all the dirty work around the floor, he has the potential to do so much more for that team. And the problem is he's now stuck in a situation with Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and Carmelo Anthony, and all three of those guys need to get their shots per game. That's the problem when you get to superstar status. You need to get your shots, whatever team you're in. And it almost becomes like the team doing well is second to getting your shots in. The problem with Steven Adams, every game, he's only getting like 8 or 9 shots. And when he gets that few of shots, usually the Thunder lose. In the games when he shoots 11 or more, usually the Thunder win. And the reason for this is he has a very high scoring percentage. And of course you'll say, yeah, he takes a lot of his shots closer to the rim. But even so, you can't deny that fact. You have to be smart with the way you use him. At the moment, Steven Adams is only getting his shots from cleaning up rebounds, doing the dirty work, Russell Westbrook will feed him sometimes throughout the game. Paul George maybe once a game. Carmelo Anthony usually never. Felton never passes him the ball, honestly. So they don't ever run plays for him. That's the problem I have. They don't run plays for him. You need to run plays for him. Run some plays for the guy so that he can get easier shots. Because the shots that he takes, he's cleaning up your shit. He's cleaning up all your mess. So you need to get that guy more shots. Now, I've watched him almost every game that the Oklahoma City Thunder have played since he was drafted to them. He's just developed so much to the point now that you can't deny him now. You can't deny him those shots. I think I was just watching that last game against Houston. I think they gave him the ball once and he got to post up, did like a beautiful spin move and scored. I don't remember seeing any plays ran for him. I don't remember any pick and rolls that they used to do a lot with Russ. I'm hoping that them saving them for the playoffs or something like that, because they're just not using him. It's becoming a bit of an issue, and that leads to Carmelo Anthony. Now, Carmelo Anthony is one of the great scorers, one of the great isolation scorers in NBA history. Honestly, when he gets that shot off and he gets it right, it's a beautiful thing. But the problem is now he's getting a bit older, he's lost a step, and you might think he might have only lost like an inch or two on his jump. But when he jumps up, how many times have we seen him do his traditional ISO move, puts the ball up, and he gets blocked? It seems to happen a lot, and the problem is he's lost a bit of his jump, He's lost those hops, so it might only be an inch, but an inch is a lot when you're playing against guys who are 7 foot. That's part of the problem. He's a step slower on offense, he's a step slower on defense, and the problem is, because he's such a superstar, it's going to be very difficult to have that conversation with him about him needing to come off the bench, because that is what needs to happen. The floor is too clogged with Westbrook and Paul George and Steven Adams out there in the starting unit. They're just not confident of how to play with each other. And the problem with Melo is he's not shooting well, so he's actually not adding any value to them on the floor, because He's hindering them on defense. On offense, he's just kind of getting in the way. And it's becoming a bit of a problem. Melo needs to score where he can be the main option and do his little ISO ball. And I think they can do that with him off the bench. They need another scorer off the bench. So having him working with Felton in that second unit, I think could be a great move. It's going to be very difficult for it to happen. Just going through some stats with Melo. In the last 10 games, his field goal percentage is 38%. 38%. That is just way too low for a starting player in the NBA. Now, Steven Adams, last 10 games, 64%. 64%. I mean, shit. I did not play in the NBA. I am not a fucking NBA coach. But I can read that statistic. Of course, Melo's taking harder shots, but sometimes he's not. Sometimes he's missing layups at the rim. He's getting blocked at the rim. A couple of times he's went to dunk it, and the rim's fucking blocked him. It's just frustrating, you know. I watch these games, and they've got so much potential. I think they can go to the playoffs, and they can do really, really well because this is a team built for the playoffs. That starting unit is tough against anyone. When they're on fire, it's great. Now, I had a lot more confidence when Robertson was still in. Now Robertson is out. He was kind of one of the anchors on defense with Steven Adams, and you can see that Steven Adams is struggling a lot without him. It's very hard to guard all these players without that other guy there, you know, who you can rely on. Now instead of Robertson out there, Steven Adams got trying to rely on Carmelo Anthony. I saw in the game against Houston, James Harden just blew past Carmelo Anthony, and then obviously Harden made the layup. And then Carmelo Anthony screamed out, he's like, where was the fucking help? Well, the fuck, man, you have to at least slow your guy down a little bit. Steven Adams was trying to block out his guy. Paul George was standing there with no one. I was reading some things about how one of the tactics for Houston in that game was to target Carmelo Anthony, to repeatedly run at him, because they knew that he's too slow to guard them. And so apparently their tactic was to run at him. The defense would collapse. Harden could either kick it back out for a three, or he could just take it through the lane and score, because Melo just couldn't guard him. Steven Adams was guarding Chris Paul most of the game. They were switching onto him, and he was guarding Chris Paul. I mean, shit. Melo needs to come off the bench. It's pretty obvious. Listen, he was a great scorer. In the past, he was fucking mint, but he never won a championship. And maybe there's a reason why. You need to play for the team. And Steven Adams is the ultimate team guy. So for Melo to be screaming out, where was the help at Steven Adams? Just because you tried to fucking guard someone on one play, man. Steven Adams does it every play. Frustrating to watch. I love Russell Westbrook. I love that mentality he's got. And I know he is getting frustrated with the situation. Paul George at this point has the higher ceiling than Melo on that team, you know. When Paul George is on fire, he's great. He's come back from that All-Star break. He's been shit. But he'll get it back, and hopefully in time for the playoffs, if they make the playoffs. That's how tight it is. That's fucking frustrating. Sorry for all the swearing. I do not mean to swear this much in all my videos. I will be doing some where I actually add some clips and do some interesting stuff. But today I just wanted to have a bit of a bitch session about it. Just find it really frustrating that they're not utilizing the big man. Now I am biased because I'm a Kiwi, but it's pretty obvious to everyone that he is the third best player on that team, and he is the second most valuable player on that team. Behind Russell Westbrook, he is the franchise guy for this team. Every single night, he's the one on the floor getting the balls. He's the one getting those rebounds. He's the one taking the most damage, and you won't even run a play for him. Run him a play. Get him an easy shot. Get him buckets. Give Steven Adams Carmelo Anthony's shots. Give him those shots and see what happens. You got a guy shooting 65%. I don't give a shit where it's from on the floor. 65%. Get him the ball. Do what Harden does. Collapse the defense. Kick it out. Give it back in. Give him a fucking easy dunk. Very frustrating. They were targeting Melo play after play. And the frustrating thing is, I guess it's a positive thing. As bad as the Thunder looked, they only lost by 10 points. Houston looked pretty good. They were shooting that three ball great. So there is a lot of upswing for the Thunder if they can get their shit together in time. I just hope they do. But Melo has to come off the bench. I can't see it happening. That's the problem. But hey, I'm not the NBA coach by any means. Just a fan. But that's my opinion. I will be sharing some more videos. I hope you enjoyed this one. Bit of a bitch session. But if you want to hear more of my thoughts about basketball going forward, things that I see in the league, I'm going to be doing a few videos. I also want to be doing a few breakdown videos on certain plays and things when I get some time to pull some clips. I am so frustrated. I am going to smoke a fucking joint, honestly. I feel so wound up about that. Give Steven Adams some more shots. Respect that he's a talented dude. He's got so much potential as well. And we can see what he do. We get little flashes of what he can do. Remember, he got that ball, he got that steal on halfway, and he Euro-stepped, took it up, Euro-stepped, laid it in. That was beautiful. And he's got that shit in his bag. So let him open his bag like Mary Poppins and see what the fuck is in there. Let Steven Adams be Mary Poppins. Let him open his bag. Don't hold him back. Come on. Melo, you need to come off the bench. You're a mint player though, but come on, man. You're holding back this team. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. If you made it this far, I'll catch you later.